What's happening, man?
Sup, dog?
It's Friday.
Friday!
What's up, guys? How you guys doing?
Hey, welcome to Quarantined with Gary and Abel.
This is like probably episode 16.
Episode 16.
I think. I don't know.
It is 16. I have 13 right here, but it's 16.
Yeah, that's totally way off. Oh,
yeah,
man.
no, it's 16.
Come on, man.
It's 16. No, because I had to reform
Hey,
because Abel would complain like a little baby.
No, it's not that I was complaining. Here's the issue. He would send me the outline, right? And it's like 3 pages because the date and the episode name or whatever was like this big. I was like, dude, I don't need a whole page to tell me what episode it is.
You know why I did that?
All this
Because
fits on one page.
I was using my pages as notes. So in between things, I would use it as notes.
But he made the changes. He made the changes.
I didn't write any notes today, so we're like a hot and Woohoo! Friday, baby. Happy birthday. How was it? What'd you get? What'd you do? Tell us. Spill your guts, dude.
The birthday was cool, man. So what did I do on my birthday? We went to my mom's house, and my dad and my mom cooked a home meal for us. It was so good. He made enchiladas, but he used his original recipe for the sauce.
Jeez.
Dude, because like I don't know why. The last couple of years, he's been making them like a lighter red sauce, and it's good. It's really good, actually. But man, I saw the color in them, and I told him right away. I was like, "Use the other recipe," and he's like, "Yeah, I hadn't done it in a while." He goes, "We'll see how they come out." Dude, they're so bomb. He made a set of enchiladas filled with papas or potato.
Yeah.
So potato enchiladas, and they have cheese in them too and stuff. And then he made some that are just cheese. Dude, they're so good. And then what he does is
That sounds so good.
he makes enchiladas, right? And then he tops them off with fajitas, whether you want beef or chicken fajitas on top of them.
Really?
Yeah. And then he does a traditional like cabbage or lettuce on top with the crumbled cheese and then the salsa on top.
Oh,
dude,
dude.
it's bomb. Dude. Yeah.
We're gonna have to make your dad come cook for us, dude. Or just bring that over when he's done making it.
Yeah. So that's what I did for my birthday. We just gotta hang out, and
Yeah.
and then Gloria took a couple days off. Well, so this whole month, like half of the month, it's also our anniversary. Gloria and I's anniversary, and so it's like her birthday, my birthday, and the anniversary, and then it's also my brother's anniversary 2 days before ours.
Dang, you guys are.
Everything's like right there. Boom.
How close is her birthday to yours?
She's June 17th.
Oh yeah. Oh jeez. Yeah, that's close, dude.
Yeah, June 17th, and then mine is right after.
You guys the same age?
It's actually June 17th, then Father's Day, and then my birthday, and then our anniversary. So,
You the same age, or you rob the cradle, or?
I'm older than her by 2 years, I think.
Oh.
1 year? 2 years, I think.
Yeah. Same with me and my wife.
Yeah.
Any gifts? Any good gifts? Come on, man.
We don't really do gifts. Like that's kind of not true. So sometimes I get my gift like in the beginning of the year, and she'll say like "Merry Christmas," "Happy Birthday," "Happy Kwanzaa."
Usually,
like it's usually like something like significant that I use every day. So
yeah, I like that. That's cool.
Yeah. So no. Actually, to be quite honest, like we haven't really given each other any gifts. What we did was we bought some seats because we have the pool. And we have the backyard, and we weren't really using the backyard. So what we did is that we bought some seats.
Just updated everything.
Yeah, well, we didn't even have seats back there.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, it was just the pool. So we bought some seats and stuff, some seating area and stuff.
Nice.
And that's kind of like a gift for both of us.
Yeah, when you get older, that's the type of stuff.
So like the money went to that, you know what I mean? But yeah, no, man, it's chill. And I was looking forward to this. It's Friday, we usually get together and we talk.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot going on, man. There's a lot going on right now.
A lot going on.
4th of July weekend. Happy 4th of July, guys. And yesterday, actually, for my birthday, I got the palm trees cleaned.
Really?
I have 3 monster palm trees in the front of my house. And they're beautiful, but man.
That's a lot of work,
Dude, they start like producing these little like seedlings,
the seedlings right in the middle.
And they're
them.
as big as a human,
Yeah.
and they're super heavy, maybe 200 pound.
Well, they start growing another tree. That's
Yeah,
what they do.
yeah, and then they like, it's just, dude, it's nuts. And so, anyways, I got a guy to cut them all down. He was trying to charge me a ton to like get rid of the trash. So I told him, just cut them down. I'll pay you for that. I'll get rid of the trash. And
that's a lot of work too.
It is a lot of work. But I have the trailer. I have the double axle trailer.
Oh, that's true.
And I have the covered one and the double axle one. So I came and picked it up yesterday, and then I got to work, man. I was a workout, man.
Nice.
My shirt was soaked after.
Good.
Just loading it in. It's a 19-foot double axle trailer, and it was full. Like, it was a lot of trash, dude.
Good, man. That makes up for me putting furniture together a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. And now the house, it looks super clean. The backyard, the front yard, the palm tree, everything's. So we're ready for the 4th of July.
It never fears. Like, I clean up. Gabby knows I clean up, but it takes a lot for me. I'm like, he was like, okay, I'll finally do it,
But once you get doing it, it's like you just don't
do
stop.
it,
You go.
and you start doing everything
Yeah.
else, but it never fails. And then a week after, these guys are like,
everything's
I was
yeah.
like, oh man, I just cleaned that up.
Yeah. So, we know that for our anniversary, we're not really going to go anywhere because we usually will leave for me 4 days or something. Maybe we go up north, like I said, like Big Sur or Solvang or any of that. Like, I love that whole Santa Ynez area, Pasos Robles. But we're not going to be able to do that because of all the stuff going on, right? So so we decided, let's just let's stay home, but like right now our fridge is like packed. We're going to be cooking all weekend. We're just going to stay home pretty much and celebrate at home with the kids.
Same with us.
Yeah, man.
I mean,
it's nice though, right? It's like a little.
After I do this, I'm gonna go hit Northgate and like pick up all my
Northgate.
meat
So what's up? Has Northgate sent us any?
No, but I've been going since I've been talking about it. I've been going there like 2 or 3 times a week,
Yeah,
man.
I was hoping that by now Northgate would have sent us a contract for our sponsorship.
Or some tamales.
That's okay. We'll be patient. Hey, we'll be patient. We'll be patient.
Or some tamales at least, at the very least.
A 6-pack. What'd you say? 2 for breakfast, 2 for lunch, 2 for dinner.
That's right.
Yeah. Oh, it would have to be a 12-pack because we're gonna split it.
Those guys are smart because it used to be where you could pick your own, and make a little bag. So you could put, they have like 6 different kinds: pork, beef, cheese. Yeah. And I used to get like 1. So they're smart. They pre-pack 2. Two. So people aren't grabbing and touching them. And so it's like, well, crap, I got to get 2 of these. I got to get 2 of these. I got to get 2 of these. Before it was just 1. So now.
You know what they should do? Is do a 6-pack of all the same.
Yeah.
So then you'd walk out with like.
I would.
With 6-pack of the green, 6-pack of the red, and then 6-pack of the pork ones.
So what happened that night was I told Gary, I'll grill. And I went and bought meat and seasoned it, got it all going. I was all happy. I was like, man, I'm starving. Well, I know I get hungry when I'm grilling. Yeah. So what I did was, on my way out, I picked up 4 cheese tamales. They're fat guy problem.
Just 4?
Okay, 6. But 2 I saved. Originally, it was supposed to be just 1.
Wait, you went from 1 to 6.
So this is true fat guy problems, man. So I'm grilling. I'm like, oh, man, I'm hungry. Those things are still warm. They're in there. I'll have one. Hey, man, I'm still hungry. I'll go have another.
So you're still cooking?
I'm still cooking.
You're just like eating?
Eating a tamale, dude. Like it's like a burrito, dude. And then got it all cooked, and they hadn't come back from the store yet because she was picking up a couple other things.
I haven't had their tamales yet.
And they're not like the best, but enough like to fill your tamale quenching,
A little craving.
Yeah. And so they're not back from the store. I grilled all this meat, and it's, I have it all wrapped up. And I'm like, well, I'm still hungry, dude. Well, I'll get another tamale. I had 4 tamales.
Wait, so hold on a second. So so you finish cooking. Yeah. Do you even eat that, or are you full?
I was waiting for them, right? Uh-huh. So I was like, I should put this. I've been on dieting, so I've been eating small meals every 4 hours, right? Well, that day my meals had run out, so I was starving. Like by 4 o'clock, I had only had breakfast that morning. And for me, I'm a big guy, man. You got to put some fuel in you, right? And
diesel.
It's like I binged though that day. I did. It was a little bit of a binge, but hey, man, what are you gonna do?
Hey, man, did you see this thing? Theo Abel.
I saw that. That was
Theo
cool.
Abel, and then on the other side, this is really cool.
That's really cool.
Blackbelt Collective logo right there. That's from my brother and my nieces and my cuñada.
If my voice is going in and out, I've been sleeping with the fan on.
I don't do that, dude.
Summer problems, dude.
It'll mess up your sinuses too. Yeah.
So my eyes are watering like crazy.
Don't do
right
that.
Now. And so how my throat is when people
COVID.
No, not COVID. How people
Gabby, why aren't you taking care of this guy?
when people have like
This guy should be wearing his mask.
you asshole. Every time now she sees this, she's gonna be like,
Hey, I'm 6 feet apart. I'm 6 feet apart. Why do you think these arms are so long, dude? So I can stay away from you.
so come on. She's just looking out for all of us.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah.
You're
You did
so-
say not to bring anything up.
Don't
You did
bring
say
it
that. You know what? I didn't do it on purpose.
That was gonna be a full out discussion.
Oh, man. Hey, Gabby, you got to, man, come on, talk to this guy.
Do you feel older now?
I do, man. You know, man, how do I say this? So I'm 39, dude, but I feel like I've been through some stuff, man. And
39, man. That's like dog years. That's like you're like a teenager, dude.
no, so like I worked with my dad for 27 years, right?
I'm taking my glasses off.
You getting a little hot in here?
They're fogging up because I said my eyes are like watering, so they're fogging up.
That's not a COVID symptom.
Well, now you have it if it is.
I worked with my dad for 27 years, and I've always been, since I was a child, since I was 14, always been around older people, always. So in the workplace, right?
Yeah.
And then in my personal life, because you start working with people at that age that are a lot older than you, right? And you're doing things that adults are doing. So you're doing business, you're filling out contracts and stuff like that.
It's definitely a learning experience.
So then it's like, even your conversations are a little bit different because you're so used to being with older people, right? So I never really hung out with.
I get that. Dude.
Yeah, I never really hung out with like a bunch of young people.
So you got to remember, me and Gabby met when she was 19. She already had her first son, my son. I don't consider him a stepson, but
well, you raised him.
Yeah. So I've been with him since he was 2, probably. Even before then, dude. So people don't realize I did go to a little bit of college, and when I was trying to find my way through college, I thought I'd be teaching one day, and I wanted to teach like kids and preteens and teens. Middle school would have been cool. So what I did was I went and I volunteered at their youth center. And when you go into these youth centers, they want you to learn child safety, this and that. So I had to work with the newborns for a little bit. So how I met Andy before I even met Gabby is I used to go in and I used to play with the newborns.
Are you kidding?
Yeah. So,
that's cool, man.
Yeah. So, I mean, I didn't even know that was her son. Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. So that's kind of like, yeah, I did that for a little while.
I always knew you had a good heart, man.
I do have a good heart, man. What are you talking about?
You're a little crazy, but you have a good heart.
But I was just gonna say, and what was I gonna say?
I don't know where you're going with this, but it's interesting.
I was gonna make a point. Now I don't even remember.
It's your ADHD.
It is.
Yeah, I don't think you have enough coffee, or maybe you have too much coffee.
I lost my point.
I was saying that I was working with my dad for 27 years.
Oh no. Okay,
yeah.
so being a young dad, I get it. When I chose, I'm gonna be with you, and started dating at 20.
Yeah.
That made me instantly like go in, and these guys are dads who are like in their 30s.
Got it. Yeah.
You know, and then when Andy got into sports, it was all with guys. Their kids are like, oh yeah, I'm 35, I'm 36. How old are you? Oh, I'm 22, I'm 24.
Damn, this guy's young.
Yeah. So I always became the coach that kids gravitated to because I was the young coach.
That's cool.
But I also hung out with a lot of older people, so I get what you're saying. That's what I was trying to get to without a roundabout.
So like then I was like 16, 18. So everybody.
That took forever.
Yeah, 16. That was a long. I was like 16. But you came back.
I don't know what I was doing in there.
Tangent.
I was trying to make a point, but I needed the attention.
Yeah, so I was like 16 or 16, then turned to 18. But by that time, that's a long time, between 14 and 18. So all these people know me already for so long, and they saw me grow up. So I'm 18. These guys gave me a fake ID. And
oh, shit.
Back in the day, it was different. Like, we didn't have all this terrorism stuff. And like now, I think you go to jail for that stuff, dude. Back then, it was kind of like, let boys be boys kind of thing. Like, you got a fake ID and, you go do your thing. Now it's like, I think it's like a real, it's like a real deal, like where you're trying to falsify.
Back then, people were using fake IDs to go get beer and
nothing.
And whatever. Now people are like,
you don't know what they're using a fake ID for.
Yeah, they're.
So they got me a hookup that had fake IDs, and they made it for me, and it was swipeable. Everything, it was legit. And so these guys and girls from the office were like, all right, hey, Junior, we're going to go to such and such. All right, I'll meet you guys up. I got to finish work because my dad wouldn't let me leave. Like, we were always first in, last out. So I was like, I'll meet you guys later. So by the time I got there, they already had been there, hanging out, doing their thing at a club or whatever, wherever it was. And I'd always show up at the end, or not at the end, but like later on in the evening, and I was always hanging out with a bunch of older people, you know, and they made it easy for me to hang out with them because they got me a fake ID, and they just figured if you can work with us and you can negotiate contracts and do everything we do,
they take care of you, man.
Why couldn't you? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I never got stupid with them.
They take care of you, which is a good thing. Is learning how to play with older people because it teaches you.
Yeah, but the only issue with that is this: that you pick up
bad habits. Too.
Well, what I mean by bad habits, but like it was like spending habits, like because we made a decent living, it was also real easy to go and spend it, especially when you're with older people because they might be established, they might have that money set aside, all this stuff. I was still young. I didn't have money set aside.
You guys were popping bottles.
So
huh?
I'm just saying that they were spending some
popping
money,
bottles.
and it's like you're a youngster, and you're like,
they were in the blue room.
You just kind of get used to living a certain way, and
Abel,
so that's kind of like.
Hey, well, you go to the blue room. We're going to the champagne room because we can afford the champagne room, and you have the blue room.
I have no idea what rooms you're talking about right now, but the point is like, I've always been around older people, always, and so like right now when you're saying like, do you feel old? Like, I felt old for a long time already.
I'm with you. I'm the same way.
Like an old soul.
People look at me and they're like, you don't act your age, Yeah. And I'm like, well, it's probably because I was thrown into the mix with older people so young. And I've always hung out with older people. I told you I have a cousin who works for DMV. She's not really a cousin. She's one of my closest friends that I've known since I was like 2.
Yeah.
And she'll tell you right there. Yeah, I always hung out with her friends, and so I always hung out with people.
Yeah, and I love hanging out with older people too because, dude, they have some awesome stories.
Older people just get it too.
Yeah, like even when I travel to Mexico, I'll usually go with my dad, and we'll spend maybe a week or 2 there. But we always make it a point to go visit like my uncles and stuff like that, even if it's for a day. And I love it. Like, I have a lot of cousins and stuff out there. I never hang out with the youngsters, though. I always go hang out with my uncles and stuff. And, they're 20 years older than me. And I have the best time, like, just the best time just talking with them. Like, really not doing anything. Just sitting down over a bonfire or cooking something or having, like, some tequila and just sipping on it while they're telling me their stories,
Yeah.
Dude, I love that.
Yeah.
That does not bore me. I don't need to be wilding out or whatever. I could literally sit down and just talk, and I love that. I just love it.
And that's the thing, right? Yeah, I'm the same way. Hey, let's go sit down and shoot the shit for about an hour.
And so like they have like one of my uncles that I'm referring to. He has a big piece of land. Actually, he has a ranch land. So he has like ranch land here, ranch land there. So throughout the day, he has to go in his truck and check the different lands, right? Because on one land he might have like strawberries growing.
Oh, man.
On another land he might have like the cows roaming, like cleaning they let them roam. They eat the
weeds.
And weeds and stuff to keep the land clean. And then other places he has like onions and potatoes and so on and so forth, right? So there's like 5 or 6 of spots that he has, and they're really big pieces of land, like really big. So it's cool just getting in this truck and you're going maybe 10 miles an hour, 15 miles an hour, because he's observing, And as we're observing the land, making sure that everything's where it's supposed to be, and all, yeah, you're saying hi to people, and he's telling me his stories and stuff. And as boring as that sounds, like going 10 or 15 miles an hour, it is so fun. Like, it's just cool, man. You get like that little breeze because the windows are down, saying hi to people as we pass by. He's checking his land, telling me his stories of, I mean, dude, they have crazy stories out there, especially out there. And I'm just like listening. This is cool, man. It's like an old
and
soul.
most of us as people want to tell like their experiences, So it's like, especially when you get a little older and you do it day in, day out. He was probably like,
well, my uncle was a Rolling Stone, dude. Yeah, my uncle was a Rolling Stone. So his stories range from like your story is like incredibly unbelievable to like really funny, and then some like really serious where there's like sorrow.
Yeah.
And he has a very awesome way of mixing them so that it's not too heavy.
Yeah.
So like he'll say he'll say something that's like really serious, and you're like, damn, I didn't know he went through that. But then like the next one that comes is like it's totally uplifting, but he has a way of storytelling, and it's brilliant. It's people who can tell stories. I've always respected that, and I love that.
That's like the funnest thing.
Yeah.
When you get
that's why I like hanging out with you.
I've become a good storyteller, but that's because I've hung out with a lot of older guys. There's guys, though, that you can tell, like my Uncle Dave can tell a story. My Uncle Dick, that's his real name, Richard, but we've always called him Dick. They can tell stories, dude. Not only can they tell stories,
how old are they?
They can tell jokes. My Uncle Dick's going to be 70, 60, he's like 69.
Yeah.
One of the presidents of Giant RV, so if you need an RV, Dick, and I'm hooking you up.
That's right. We talked about this last time. Yeah. Let's do it, dude. Let's do a podcast in the RV, man.
He probably let us for a free advertisement.
That'd be so sick.
He's all about money. He's all about business. Dude.
Yeah. Or you know what we can do? We can park the RV, and you know how they have like a setup when you park, you could like pull
everything out.
Yeah, and then we'll be like right in front of the RV. That'd be so sick.
I'll ask him. He might tell us, well, you have to come up and do it.
Let's do it. Let's go.
At one of our.
We'll go on an adventure, man.
Hey, I would do it in a minute and go sit there and drive business and come up. Hey, what's up?
Cool, man.
And my Uncle Dave is hilarious. Can tell a story, and when they get together, like, so I've learned my storytelling from them. My Uncle Dick is a hardcore salesman. He'll sell you on like
sell you trash,
like anything. Yeah, he will, dude. He will try to. And my Uncle Dave's just sense of humor is just ridiculous. Like sometimes people are funny without having to tell a joke. They're just naturally like they got like a goofiness to them, and he's definitely that way. But yeah, and, I've kind of become that way. And my cousin Brian, I talked about him before. He's kind of become that way where our stories are now like some of them are legendary. When we get together, we spew off these stories. But Michael Dick used to we used to go fish. Well, he's one of the ones that stopped me from going fishing. So when I was little,
when you got sunburned?
Yeah. Well, I remember now. I had one other time.
Okay.
And we caught a bunch of fish. We were camping, and I was camping with him too. And I hadn't done any camping, but he was the type of guy that would be like, "See that fish?" And dude, I told you I have a horrible palate, dude. And he was like, "If you caught that, you have to eat it, and you have to eat it raw."
What? I agree that if you hunt or catch something, you eat it, but not raw, man.
But he knew it was going to make me throw up. And it was an ongoing joke.
That's why you don't try new foods, man. They ruined you.
Yeah, and that was an ongoing joke as I was a kid, my uncles, to see who could make me throw up, dude. Because I had a weak stomach when I was a kid.
Oh, man.
And so he made me put fish guts in my mouth.
Oh, that's nasty. That is nasty.
He's like, you just have to put them in your mouth then. And I put it in my mouth, and next thing you know, I was like, bah!
You realize that's the first thing that you throw away from a fish, and they were feeding it to you.
Yeah.
That's so wrong.
I don't like fish now. Now I know why I don't like fish.
Any fish?
Any fish. Really? I haven't.
So you don't like go eat sushi or anything like
that?
No,
I mean, if I go
I love sushi, dude.
I got to go with somebody who kind of knows what they're doing because I'm such a bland palate, dude.
I love sushi.
Like, if I don't like it, I'll be able to, like, go here.
Especially the raw stuff, Oh.
Yeah, dude. So, yeah, that's the type of stuff. But, yeah, he's a salesman. He can sell us anything, dude. Anything.
That's cool, man.
I got so many stories. We used to live, me and my mom, before my stepdad used to live with my grandma, so I'd see my uncles all the time.
Because they go visit.
Yeah.
Because they go visit your grandma.
Yeah, and my mom had me young at 19, so they were only in their probably 20s too back then. You know.
Right. So they were all young.
Yeah, they were young, and dude, they would sit around the table, and like they'd look at me like put beans in their mouth, and they'd look at me and they go. And as a little kid, dude,
open their mouth and stick their tongue out.
And just like
so gross.
make it like when you eat your food, and I'd be like, I'd make these sounds as a little kid, like, because I was trying to hold my stomach. Like,
your stomach was that weak?
Yeah, it was really weak, and they would bet with each other who could be the first one to make me throw up.
That's funny, dude. That's funny.
Dude, they picked on me, but I mean, I get it now. I mean, this is who I am now, but. Yeah, they used to do shit. My Uncle Dave would fart, like, so nasty, and I would go run and almost throwing up, dude. Almost, just every time.
Now I know where you get your humor from, dude.
Every time, dude.
Your humor is so raunchy.
It's definitely comes from my family, dude. Definitely comes from my family.
Yeah. Before coming in here... I'll just skip that. Yeah, no, but I am feeling older, dude, like... I've always felt like above my age, you know, but I am like I've been sparring and stuff, and man, the other day I'm like going to the restroom, like holding onto the walls because my legs are so damn sore, and I'm just like, dude, you know, like I can't imagine like if I'm feeling sore at my age. There's people out there that don't do anything. At least we keep busy here, like we, you know, because we have to, right? I mean, we're teaching martial arts, so we have to do this stuff. But there's people out there that are our age. You know, your age and my age that haven't done anything for maybe 10, 15 years.
Oh, yeah.
Dude. And you don't use it, you lose it, dude. Like
you lose it. Yeah. You lose it. I know guys who were super athletic. Now, like, I make them look like I'm like a superstar, dude, compared to what they
Yeah, because they just let their bodies go, you know? And yeah, but I mean, there's things that I could still do really well, but then there's other things that I'm like, oh, man, I've never been sore like that. I've never felt that, you know? But I guess it's normal.
But that's a little heat check, dude. I love heat checks. You know, when you start feeling like, oh, I'm feeling like Chingon, dude. I'm feeling like the man. You know what I mean? A little heat check, dude. Yeah. Heat checks are good, man.
Put you back. Put your feet back on the ground.
Humbles you. Lets you remember, like, hey, I don't really know that much, and I got a lot of belts and stuff, but then it don't mean crap.
It don't mean nothing if you don't keep it up. It doesn't mean anything.
That's the truth. All you guys who love belts, they don't mean crap.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't. I was sparring with a couple of people yesterday, and then I had my turn with Mr. Chris, and he knew I was exhausted, so he starts laying on me, like just like clench.
That's the worst. When they start picking on you. When they're
we went down to the ground, and I was just. Dude, he feels like an 800-pound like. Animal just beast on top of you, and I'm just like, dude,
I'm a solid guy. Even though I got this ponson right here, I'm solid right here. Right? People have punched me there and been like, "Whoa, what the heck?"
It's like a wall.
Yeah, but Chris, he kicked me right in my ponson one time, dude. I thought
you were able to absorb it.
Dude, I absorbed it. I ate his foot. My stomach like went whoa, ate his foot, and I was hurting, man. I was hurting for days.
But that's who you want to train with people like that, you know, like all the big boys, because that's what sharpens you up.
I love training with Chris. When it comes to training like that, you got to train with somebody who knows what they're doing.
Mr. Omar is getting really good too.
Wow, he's got a living trainer with him.
Yeah, I know he's getting really good. Austin. All those guys, they're all getting. I mean, they've been putting in the work, man. They're all getting really, really good.
They remind me of like Omar, Austin, and how we came up with our groups.
Yeah, they're putting in the work.
Yeah, they're putting in the work, man.
Yeah, there's a handful of people here that I'm just like, I'm not surprised by it because I see them here all the time. If there's a class going on, they're here. If there isn't no class going on, they're here. You know what I mean? Like they're always here, and then they want it. They're gunning for it, man.
That's how I was, dude. Yeah. When I first started out in martial, I was addicted. That was like the thing I wanted to do, dude. I had nothing else. I didn't want to go.
My wife would actually push me. Like she'd be like, "All right, you haven't trained like in a couple of days." I get like a chip on my shoulder. She'd be like, "Go to Krav." Like she'd love it when I go to Krav because it would always keep me like super chill, you know.
That's what it does, dude. Yeah. It does. It brings you down. It's almost like, you know. It's good therapy. It's healthy. It is healthy. Anybody who doesn't tell you like, oh, I think the aggressiveness that you see in the world today, I think comes from a stint of lack of people being able to send their aggressions out other ways.
Absolutely. We've gotten so complacent.
Yeah.
We've gotten so safe that, I mean, listen, like how we evolved as humans, right? Over thousands and thousands of years, we've always had danger around the corner, right? We always had, like, whether it was a beast, an animal, whatever, right? Hunting, all that stuff, it has its inherent dangers. Now, we go in a car that has a 5-star rating, safety rating. We go into an office that has security, has locks and doors, and like you're safe everywhere you go. You feel safe, at least. There's a veil there that makes you think that you're completely safe. And we do all this work that is either technology or in an office or fake lighting. We don't have any real exposure to anything. And it drives you mad because your body, your mind, everything, like all these things that were built over thousands and thousands of years, we don't get to use. Our fist, hitting something, moving around, hunting, doing all this stuff. Like that's all real natural human stuff.
And
we don't get to do it.
Don't forget, we are basically an animal, man. We are basically an animal. What do animals do? They have confrontation every once in a while. Yeah. They run. Yeah. They hike. And some of these people, man, you see these videos and stuff, they just need an outlet, dude. Yeah. Because people in generally, any race are all good. Any race, there's bad. But without an outlet, we're seeing what we're seeing today.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Coming in, getting your physical exertion, hitting something, building that camaraderie, building the tribe, in your martial arts studio or gym or whatever. Like it's all healthy stuff, man.
Yeah, and
it's kept me younger. I know that.
People
it's kept me out of trouble too.
Yeah, and I'm learning. One of these is like, I'm on this like constantly now since we're doing the podcast. So I'm like trying to build up our following, and but I get it. I'm not on this anymore, the news, especially since I've known you guys.
Yeah.
Like you said before, hey, the news is just negative.
It's poison, dude.
So since
do you need to get updates? Yes, absolutely. Get your update, and that's it. Shut it off.
Since we've had conversations, my news intake is cut like way back, dude. Way back. And it's been good for me because of, I'm usually like, whoa, And
I used to always listen to on the radio. I used to always listen to certain news outlets and stuff, and I had to shut it off. So you know what I do now? I listen to podcasts, and I listen to actually something that's going to teach me something or something that I'm interested in. But usually I take something away positive from it as opposed to just getting all like tensed up because of all this like craziness going on.
And there's so many different kinds of podcasts out there.
Yeah, there is.
You should be listening to us, but there's so many different kinds of podcasts out there, and everybody's doing some type of genre or some type of thing. But that's what I'm saying. You notice I turned it so I can see it right on camera.
Good.
I haven't opened mine
yet.
So
good when it touches your
I'm trying
lips.
to get my.
I had my coffee. Finished that. You guys saw me like put it away. I'm done with my coffee. Moving on to the bubbly. Dude, it's so good.
Yeah, but aggression nowadays, it's all. You see these people just screaming at each other. It's like, dude, you've never been punched in the face. You've probably never been punched in the face, and you got two people.
You know what's funny is that the most aggressive people are usually that are not in shape and that have no training whatsoever.
Yep.
Everybody thinks they can fight. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a little, if you've ever been in a fight, it's a little bit of a humbling thing, and it teaches you to mind your business a little bit. Teaches you a little bit of respect for the other person. Just you don't have to have like this enormous amount of respect. But if me and you got an argument and I've been in a fight before, I know when to back off now. And I know when to say, hey, you know what?
I'll take it a step further. You don't even have to engage it. You can literally just walk away.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying turn my back and walk away. I can walk away safely. There's a certain way to do that, right? De-escalate it without turning my back. I can do it safely, but you can just ignore it. It's like a barking chihuahua, and there's this big dog. He's not even going to turn around and look at it. He's just like, dude, whatever. Just walks the other way,
So one of my favorite comedians, dude, you texted me the other night. And
oh, I did text you.
Yeah. And one of my favorite comedians of all time, dude. And not everybody likes him because he's a little bit more on the Mexican side. So, and
whatever, it's funny. It's comedy. Whatever.
But I can relate to him so much in his comedy, dude.
George Lopez, dude. When he talks about the stuff that his grandmother used to say to him, it just reminds me of how I was kind of. He has similar like he jokes about similar stuff like you do, and I was just like, wow, it's so raunchy, But there's some real fun. Like to me, there's some stuff that he does touch on that's like super funny.
One of the best bits I saw in the new one, Gabby was watching. Because I hate doctors. I hate going to doctors. I'd almost rather die out of nowhere.
He has a bit about prostate, right? Yeah. Prostate cancer.
And he goes in with his wife and gets checked, and he goes, "You got prostate cancer? And you have 6 months to live?" And he's like, "Yesterday I didn't have prostate cancer, but today I got it. Now I'm dying. What the hell?
Why'd you tell me to come to the doctors?" It's like, no, dude, you had it yesterday. The doctor's confirming you had it.
So that's just like me, like right there. When before I went in, I didn't want to go to the doctor.
But that's the culture, though. Like I said last time, a long time ago, I was like, yeah, like in the Latino culture, if you buy a plot, like a cemetery plot or whatever, they're like, oh. It's taboo because they're like, oh no, like you brought it on yourself now. Yeah. Like now you're gonna die. Like, dude, we're all gonna die. We're just being responsible.
And that's the funny thing, and I think that's sometimes what my brother has a little hard time because we were brought up in just a blunt house. My mom would just tell you, "Hey, listen, fat ass, get your, go do something, get off your lazy ass, or and stuff like that." And George Lopez talks about that.
Yeah, like, he does. He says his grandma, like, or whatever. Oh, that's funny, dude.
And that was my mom, dude. She would do the same thing. Like, talk about kids. Like, I hate you.
It's like tough love, huh? Like real tough love.
Like the kid goes to his mom, "I hate you." And the grandma goes, and George Lopez goes, "Because I've hated you first." Yeah. That was my mom, dude. Yeah. She was the same way.
When your mom was pregnant, I hated you already.
She used to tell me, like say something. And then I'd be like, "You're just ugly. No, look at you. You're ugly. Look how ugly you are." And I didn't mean it like she looked ugly, but then she would take it back.
I'm gonna give Mr. Gary a hug after. You need a hug after every one of our therapy. Oh, I mean therapy sessions. I mean podcast.
But what's the funny part is? The funny part is, today's one of the days. My mom loved the 4th of July, so today's like. Yes, tomorrow's going to be like one of the days. That's why I always go set up a parade for the parade and stuff. Because she loved the 4th. She loved having her kids come over and light fireworks in front of her house and stuff like that. And, but, yeah, you couldn't tell her nothing, dude. You'd be like, oh.
She'd eat you up for breakfast.
So me and my mom have the same, she gave me her sense of humor. Like, we have the same type of sense of humor. And, yeah, people just looked at us because we would just be bawling, laughing, and everybody would be like, "What the hell is so funny?" These two right here. And that was the last concert I went to was a George Lopez concert, and my mom took me for my birthday.
Oh, that's cool.
Because her birthday was on the 5th and mine was on the 8th, and nobody else wanted to go see George Lopez, and she was like, "Let's go."
Why wouldn't you want to go see George? I'll go watch any comedian if I get invited.
Oh, I plan on setting something up here. As soon as things aren't as bad,
it's like with games too, like a basketball game,
more, man.
A baseball game, hockey.
Oh.
Like if I go live, because I don't really watch that stuff on TV. I don't. I'm not gonna pretend like I follow it. I don't. But if you invite me to go to a live game, whatever it is, I'm there, man. It's an experience. It's cool. It's good energy.
Me and my brother go to a lot of Laker games. I'm a huge Laker fan.
Yeah.
I'm so spoiled when it comes to seats, dude. I sit in floor seats sometimes.
Jeez.
Yeah, those are awesome.
That is. It sounds awesome.
Man, and I can't go to a Laker game now if I go pay for my own ticket because I'll be sitting at the top. I'll be like, this ain't the same, dude.
I don't want to go.
True story. I was at a Laker game. Lakers were blowing out the Pistons. Me and Andy were sitting on top, and people were clearing out, and it still had a 4th quarter to go. So, they do the Jumbotron and show people dancing and stuff. Took off my shirt, dude. I was up there.
You did not take off
your shirt. I did, dude. I did. I was up there. was giving the old woo, and Annie was so embarrassed. I was on the jumbotron and I didn't even realize it. That was awesome, dude.
Wait, so let's back up a little bit. Why did you take off your shirt?
Why not?
Wow.
You know. Hey, sometimes you just got to be noticed. Man.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey, I do stuff for laughs. And that was just something to be funny, dude. And embarrass my son, dude.
The
of course.
That's funny.
Of course, dude. I'm embarrassed.
Hey, we were trying to get Mr. Brett on today.
We tried to have a special guest. Have our first special guest. Actually, it's probably helpful to have him in one time just to hang out and do whatever. Just for that, I'm banning him from the freaking show.
Yeah, he's off.
He's banned.
Yeah, well, now we'll just talk about him, but he'll never be allowed to come on.
I'm gonna tell him the only way he's allowed now back on is if I can cut his hair.
No, dude, he's like Samson, man. He won't let you touch his hair.
That's he's like American Indian, dude. Ponytail to his butt.
Yeah, he won't let you touch his hair, man.
Yeah, we tried though. Even I was like, yeah, we should. Yeah. That would be a good little.
It was funny that when we were doing the sound check, his voice is like a radio voice. It's a great voice.
Yeah.
And I bet you anything too. He has some great stories. He's so quiet about all his stories.
Come on, I even told you I didn't know much about Brett.
He lived in Asia for quite some time.
Yeah, I mean, come on, that's
15 years or something.
Yeah.
He's got to have some stories, man.
We both know he's got to have some stories.
Come on, man.
A man living alone in Asia.
Hey, let's get him on.
Let's get him on, dude.
Yeah, that's our goal.
That's our goal. If not, Brett, I'm going to kick your ass.
Wow. Oh, man. What else you got for us?
Dude, so kind of right along, we were kind of going on that.
Oh, nice.
Matt stories, dude. So I was thinking the other day, you were telling me how you guys were in here doing a little instructor training, doing whatever. I was like, I was thinking, man, I have some funny Matt stories I can tell. Dude, you got any good Matt stories?
Not a funny one.
No.
I have Matt story. I have a ton of Matt stories. I mean, we've been doing this for so long. But the one that literally jumps into my head right now is when I almost lost my eyeball.
Damn.
That's not fun.
Damn.
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
We were doing in the old studio, not this past studio, the older one. The
one in Costa Mesa.
The one in off of Beach Boulevard.
Oh, on Beach.
The real old, the original one.
The original one.
Yeah. We were doing this drill, and it was an advanced class. We were doing this drill, so it was like 6-on-1, and so as you're moving backwards, right? Because you have a group of people coming, so you have to stack everybody up, right? So it was like movement, stacking people up. For those of you that don't know, you want to stack people up when there's multiple attackers because you want to fight one at a time as opposed to a whole group, or avoid getting jumped, right? Being in the middle and just getting hit from every side. You want to stack them up, line them up so that you're just fighting one at a time as opposed to 1, 2, 3, right? So anyways, that's what the drill was. And as I'm backing up, as you disarm somebody or as you address somebody, they're supposed to stay out after you're done with them, right? So like one of them comes with a knife, whatever, you do your 360 block, you disarm, whatever, and then they're out of the drill. Like that's it, right?
Yeah.
Until you get through all of them. All right, so that we're going there. I get through the 6-1, right? And they don't call time, so that was my fault for stopping because you never should stop unless they call time.
In fact, I have stories about that.
Yeah, so they didn't call time, but I went through all 6 of them, disarmed them, addressed them. If they didn't have a weapon, I addressed them, defended myself, whatever. And it was a high-intensity, like, full-on drill. So, like, they're attacking you for real. They're trying to hit you with, they're trying to hit you for real. So it's all high-intensity. Adrenaline's rushing for both sides, right? And so I finished with the 6th, and then so I just kind of do one of these, put my hands down, and like I thought they were gonna call time, and out of nowhere, knife. I just see it the
tip of the
I just see it, boom, it hits my eye, dude. I like literally dropped. It was like,
dang, man.
Yeah, it dropped, and Mr. D was there, and he just like runs over to me, and he thinks I'm gonna lose my eye, dude. I'm like, I can't stay still. It hurts so bad, like So the tip of the knife it was like a hard rubber, it was like a really hard rubber.
Yeah,
like it wasn't like the wobbly ones, it was like the hard ones. Yep, the old school ones.
Yeah.
And so when it hit my eye, I felt like it tapped like something felt like it tapped the back of my eye. I can't even explain
went
it.
past your retina.
Yeah, like it hit something that held it and it bounced back out, you know? And I was just like I couldn't stay still. The pain was so intense, I couldn't stay still. Luckily, there was like 3 doctors on the mat with us.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there was 2 doctors and there was a EMT on the mat training. And so like they're all like trying to check me out and stuff. And I just told them, so Mr. D was like kneeling next, I was on the floor. And I go, dude, just tell me. I was like, just tell me, did I lose my eye? Like, is my eye popped out? And he's like, no, your eye's still there. Your eye's still there. And I thought I had lost it. Like the way it fell, I thought my eye popped out, you know? And so I was rushed to the hospital. And do you remember that movie Terminator where his eye, like there's like a piece of his face that's like open and then like the eye is red? No joke. Even the middle part that's supposed to be black, right? The pupil was red. It was completely red.
Oh yeah, you're lucky you didn't.
The trauma to the eyeball was so much that there was a whole red blood like
you're lucky you didn't pop your eyeball.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, they all told me that. They're like, dude, you're so lucky. And I went to a specialist and the specialist was like, so what happened? And I told him, yeah, like we were training, the knife hit me, it went in. And this was like 3 months before my wedding.
That's awesome, dude. I love stories like that. Your wife was probably just like...
Well, first off, she thought I was lost my eye. And even then, like I have some pictures, I'll show them to you.
How bad is that? I think it's funny.
It wasn't funny when it happened.
Exactly.
But after the fact, it's like, yeah, dude, damn. And the person who did it, actually, John Saylor.
Oh, man.
What a knucklehead, dude. But anyways,
even better.
Yeah. And the worst part is that he denied it for like 3 or 4 years, and finally one time he like, hey man, I never told you sorry. I love you,
Johnny
John.
boy.
Oh god, he did a lot of growing up.
He's done a lot of growing up.
Yeah, and so then I had my bachelor party coming up, right? So because it was like 3 months out, and so I went to my bachelor party with like a red Terminator eye. So I
wore a patch out of a gangster. Dude.
I wore shades the whole time. And so here's the thing. So it was 19 of us, right, going to my bachelor party. And we're going to Vegas. And we decided that the 19 of us, we were going to put a pot of money. So we all pitched in. And whoever can grow the best mustache. So it was a competition. So we announced that like 3 months prior, right? And so we went to my bachelor party like a month before. Because we didn't want to like, we wanted to make sure that we spaced it out enough. You know what I mean? Going to a bachelor party with 19 guys. You know,
if you're stupid, if you ever do anything with a bachelor party the night before,
don't do it a weekend before. Don't do it the night before. No.
Yeah, dude. No.
Even a sunburn will like, you know what I mean? It'll mess up your pictures and stuff. Like
I've seen where people got drunk the night before their wedding, and their wedding is like
it's like horrible,
a mess.
Yeah,
dude.
yeah. So, anyways, we spaced it out like a month before, or something like that, and so we all grew our mustaches out. So 19 guys walking down the strip, some of them with handlebars, some of them with chops. My cousin connected his mustache all the way down his throat, all the way down his chest. Yeah,
that's a hairy dude.
And I had a buddy of mine that grew like a thick mustache, big old, like curled it up, connected it to his beard, curled it up. Dude, it looks so dope. I have a picture. I'll show you my mustache. I had a healthy one, dude.
Really?
Yeah. My brother too. All of us, man. We all 19 guys walking. So everybody's like 19 guys with like crazy like hair styles, you know, facial hair.
Mustaches are always like one of those things where they're fun to grow out to see people's reactions and stuff, but they're not fun to like keep on forever, dude.
It's hard, dude. It's hard to keep them up. But anyways, so we went and we went to one of the clubs in the evening. We have a friend that his family owns like the land where the hotels are at. So like the hotel is built, but they pick up rent for the hotel being on the land. So he hooked us up with a couple places to go, and he went to sign us in, and he saw me. I hadn't seen him in years, man. His name is Fred. Hadn't seen him in years. I was like, hey, what's up, Fred? And then he gives me a hug, right? And I take off my glasses. He goes, whoa, what happened? I'm telling you, dude, it was like just dark red, completely filled eyeball. It just looks freaky, dude. go ahead and put that back on. I'll talk to the bouncers, let them know you're going to have your glasses on all night.
That's awesome.
But yeah, man, it was a good time, man. So
I have great stories, dude. As a kid, my dad would get real frustrated with me. And I played a lot of baseball growing up. And he wanted me to be a catcher. You're going to be a catcher. I did not want to be a catcher, dude, for the life of me. First of all, I just don't have that reaction time.
Yeah.
And
you have to be aggressive, right?
Yeah, you got to have skills, dude, to be a catcher. So one day I wasn't doing the right technique, and he had tennis balls, and he goes, if you're not catching it with two hands, I don't remember what it was. I don't know. I pissed him off. He threw the ball as hard as he could, the tennis ball as hard as he could, but him not thinking, he thought he was going to throw it towards the ground so I could try to scoop it up. And he threw it, and it sailed. Hit me right between the eyes. Boom! Two big old raccoon black eyes, dude. And the next...
I'm sorry, I'm laughing, but...
And the next day was my grandparents' 20th or 30th wedding anniversary. They had like a full...
You realize that doesn't fly today. You'd be in the foster home today.
Oh, and I would have put him in
jail?
Jail, dude. I was so upset in that one.
So you had to tell a story. You saw the whole family the next day because it was a family gathering?
Oh, I'm in a anniversary. They redid their vows and everything, and literally because they didn't have a big wedding, they had a big, almost like a wedding again. And we're all in tuxes, and there I am as a little kid with raccoon eyes.
Dude, that's messed up. It's so messed up, dude.
So I get that.
Eyeball stories, man.
Yeah. Mad stories. I have a ton of them. Dude, a funny story. I'm not going to say their name because I'm sure.
No, let's keep the names out.
So I'm teaching a test, and I'm like, I need an arm bar, basic arm bar. You know, I need an arm bar. This guy's not doing an arm bar right, not doing an arm bar right. Give me an arm bar. I want to see an arm bar. I'm going to fight it. And he's tired. He's been in like 2 hours, you know, so he's like not there. And he grabs my arm.
2 hours? That's...
Well, okay, maybe 3, 4. I don't know. He's super tired.
Okay.
I'm not thinking right today.
You shouldn't be tired in 2 hours.
So he has my arm, like he's going to put on the arm bar. And I'm fighting it, right? So he's not getting it, right? So he lifts his legs up, you know, when you're in the ground position to try to get a better tightness on the arm and pull the arm in. Lifts up his butt straight up in the air. And all of a sudden I feel on my arm.
Oh, that's so wrong, dude.
I almost threw up. I was like a little kid, dude. I was like, and he was so embarrassed. And you know me, dude.
Everybody farts on you. I've seen it so many times. Only on you. I've never had that happen to me.
I think people do it on purpose now. But
that's so gross. Dude, I would have sent that student home, dude.
So you know me, dude. I try to be funny about it. I was like, he's like, oh my God, I'm sorry. I was like, nasty. But dude, there's a lot of like stories I have like that. Brett.
You said you were going to keep the names out.
But that wasn't Brett. Oh. No, that story wasn't Brett. But Brett.
You have stories with Brett?
I'm going to shame Brett to get in here. I told you. If he's not in here, I'm going to tell him his fart stories.
Oh, that's funny, man.
Yeah. I'm doing a live class with everybody, showing an example, moving Brett around. We're on the ground. Again, arm bar. Brett goes to throw up the arm bar, and all of a sudden he goes, just a little one. And everybody heard it, but everybody was kind of like...
They let it slide?
Look
the other way?
I didn't let it slide, dude. Burp. Did you just shit on me? And everybody just started rolling, dude.
In the middle of the class, too. Was it a demo, or was it...
It was a demo. It was right in the middle of the class. Man. So, yeah. Thanks, Brett.
Yeah, poor Brett.
We're going to get him in.
He's not here to defend himself.
We invited him. Yeah. We all have a mat spouse, a guy who you train with.
Yeah, someone you spend a lot of time with on the mat. Yeah.
And he's great. As partners, we work really well together. You know, we know each other enough to where we don't want to get hurt.
Right.
But
you take care of each other.
But we end up hurting each other more than anybody's ever hurt each other.
You and Woody.
Yeah, me and Woody, man.
You guys are always cracking each other's heads and...
Yeah, and there's stuff that I get blamed for that I didn't even do to him, and I get blamed for it. But yeah, dude,
wasn't he doing like a second degree and then he got cracked in? Oh no, it was his first degree, first or second degree. I can't remember which one it is.
His second degree.
He got cracked in the head and then he had to stop because he blocked out.
And then everybody was telling me, "Oh, it's your fault.
You did it, right?
You did it.
I
didn't do it.
Who
I
did
didn't
it?
do it. Some other Krav Maga school instructor is to blame for that. I won't put his name on it. It wasn't me, man. It wasn't me.
Yeah.
No, I've broken his nose. So here's one time we're on the mat, and Bo's like, you got to put on a choke, and you got to feel what a choke feels like. So you put on a choke, you receive the choke. And you want to tap before you feel it like you're going out. Don't fight it. Tap when you feel it.
Oh, so you guys were showing how it
like
feels
a rear
to be
naked
choked
choke,
out.
yeah. Okay. And we're standing up behind each other trying to do it safely, but see how it feels and see where you can almost feel the blackout. And, well, me and him are farting around, and I'm like, you can't choke me out. You can't choke me out, and you won't choke me out because you're weak, and you won't choke me out. So he's got it on tight, but I won't let him know that he's got it on tight. And Bo's like, hey, you'll know once, you know, if they don't tap, just let go. Because that might mean that they're going to go out. So he's got it on nice and tight, and he goes, how's that feel? And I was like, yeah, that's pretty good. Thinking he's going to stop. Yeah. No, he singes in a little bit more. And as he singes in a little bit more, I blacked out. Then he drops me. He drops me, and I just collapsed into like a pretzel. My ankle was stuck underneath me when I woke up. And like my ankle to this day is not the same, dude.
Wait, so your leg folded behind you?
Yeah, behind me.
Dude, you ended up like the little dog in the recliner.
Yeah, that was me, man. I swear to God. And I was so pissed off at him.
He didn't even put you down nicely?
No.
That's messed up, dude.
He said he couldn't because I was so big. And
dude, you could have messed up your knees, too.
I could have messed up everything, man. And, oh, man, it hurt. But I had never felt that. So it's a good experience to feel what it's like to be choked out a little bit.
Although you guys could have been doing that from a sitting position or a kneeling position to make it a little safer.
We were in our blue belt pre-test, and we talked to each other just before, and we're like, we're going to make this look good. I'm going to make this look good, Woody. I'm going to go fast. All right. And he was really good at reciprocating and going down fast, making it look like clean. You always had to put a little show in it, you know, to make everybody go, oh, yeah. Well, as a big guy, you know, I swept him, and I went to come down on him with like a fake hammer fist. I couldn't control my body because I'd done it so fast, and I couldn't hold my weight.
Oh, because you were going down?
I was going down, and he was on the ground, and he was like this, straight up, and I hammer fisted him right in the nose, and all you heard was, crunch! Everybody was like, oh! So many more like that. We were, so we're in Stan's class. Stan's like, do anything, you know, I want you to do some type of sweep or throw. Work on your sweeps and throws. Me being, you know, I get a little aggro at times and I start having fun and talking crap. And I was like, Woody, I'm going to suplex you. And he goes, Woody's like, no, you know, take it easy.
Pretty sure that's not a technique we teach.
He's like, take it easy. And I'm like, I'm going to suplex you. Like, you're going down, dude. Just, you better catch yourself. So this fool decides to like help me out, not thinking that I'm really gonna suplex him. So he kind of lifts up,
jumps.
Yeah, kind of like does a little hop when I go get him, and instead of sweeping him, I pick him up. And Stan's watching, everybody's watching, dude. And I picked him up, and I did full on WWF suplex. Dude, I folded him in half. So hard on the ground.
You guys didn't have a mat?
I missed the mat. And he hit the other mat, but it was hard enough to where it was like, he gets up, he looks at me, and he just shook his head. He looked at me.
So pissed.
Walks to his bag.
He was mad.
Right, and this is just the start of class. Yeah. Gets his bag, puts it on, and walks out.
He left.
He just left. It took me 5 months to get finally talk back to the guy.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I finally get back and talk to the guy. I folded him. I mean, even after I did, I was like, as soon as I got to a point, I was like, this is too easy.
This is a point of no return.
Yeah, and I just knew it, dude. I mean, I full suplexed him, and everybody else is watching, right? And Jim Milo is.
But why would you even do that? That's not even a technique we teach. Why?
I have taught it since then. I've taught suplex, dude. It's a real thing in wrestling.
Man.
I was a fan of WWE.
You know what I picture? You lifting him up and then him stretching his feet up in the air, like straight.
It was almost like that because it was so fast. Even Stan was like, he was like, "Oh man, I hope he's okay." But Stan's like dark, kind of dark. He goes, he looks at it, he goes, "That was pretty cool."
Right. And there's I'm not gonna say any names, but it involved McKenna. McKenna was in the. There was this guy that for some reason kept on going really hard.
I love this story.
Kept on going really hard on
all the girls.
All the girls. For some reason, it was like, dude, this is sparring. This is not a fight. You know?
And we're trying to.
So there's a difference, guys. For you guys that don't know out there, there's a difference between sparring and fighting. When you're sparring, you're building each other up. Yeah, you're gonna have some contact, and yeah, it's real. You're landing blows, but you're concentrating on technique. You're concentrating on movement. You're trying to learn. You're not just trying to beat someone up. In a fight, you're gonna beat them up. You don't care whether you learn or not, and whether you're safe or not. You know what I mean? So it's different.
There's different levels of sparring too.
Absolutely.
And when you go live sparring, that's when you're going heavy hands and heavy legs.
Yeah. So there's a difference, right? So this was a class like fighting 101 or whatever it was. It was a class, intro to fighting. And this guy was just teeing off on the females.
Yeah.
And we're like, all right, dude, this guy's got to fight someone that is going to kind of teach him something, right? So, again, McKenna in the middle. And then they call this guy out, right? And again, he starts kind of hard, strong. And she's really not letting go. She's just kind of blocking stuff and moving around.
She's good enough to where she's...
Yeah, she obviously was safe because she was a lot better than him, right? But he's seen it as oh, this is my moment to shine. It's a female, and she's always going hard on females and stuff. And then finally, we gave her the nod, go.
Open it up.
Yep. And then so she starts just landing and stuff. So now he's getting really frustrated because he's getting hit. Every time he's going hard, she's just moving out of the way and boom, 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 right? Just putting those combos together, kicking, punching, all that. And he's getting lit up and his face is red now. And you could see that he's getting really frustrated, right? And then so he picks it up even another notch. So now he's haymakers, trying to hit her for real. And then we're just McKenna, do your thing.
Nice.
Dude, McKenna. So he goes for a haymaker. McKenna moves out of the way. And because he's so open, she goes right in the middle of his legs. Boom! Kicks him in the nuts, dude. He dropped, literally because he tried to hit so hard that he had no forearm, nothing. It was just a wild haymaker. Moves out of the way because he telegraphs it, and she goes right in between his legs. Boom! Full on groin kick, dude. He drops. Just
That's
making
awesome.
these crazy. Everybody's just quiet, and the instructors are all kind of nodding their head, yep,
that's what
you had that coming. And then so Mr. D was actually running that
even better.
and he goes, all right, you're out. He's like, get up, and he's like, he's just he can't get up. He goes, get out of the circle, or you're still in. And he crawled out of the circle. He's like, get out of the circle, or you're still in. And everybody's looking at McKenna and McKenna's just hey, dude, I had to regulate. I had to regulate. So it showed him, dude, you can't go like this with women. There's other women that can dominate you and will kick your butt, and they haven't done it yet because you're being a jerk, and they're just being nice to you right now.
Now with
they get weeded out though.
With women that are now trained that are just unbelievable
monsters, dude.
Yeah, unbelievable. And we know a lot of them.
And you'll still get men that don't train on their couch and still say, "Oh, I can." It's dude, you have no clue, man.
Rosario's had to regulate a little bit. And,
Dude, Rosario, Alicia, dude, they're...
Yeah. So, yeah, I've seen that. That's pretty crazy. Yeah, but McKenna's the real deal, dude. She gives fifths for anybody. There's no gender involved. She just is very good.
She's very
athletic.
Good. Yeah, and her technique is very good. And then you talk to her and you're like, she's a sweetheart.
Yeah,
she's
exactly.
Like, she's just, you know.
Nicest kid ever around. Yeah.
She's actually taking care of Jimena tonight.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice. Good for you. Going out again, huh?
Again. Oh, my God.
You ever run your kids?
Yeah, it's funny. McKenna, actually, we canceled when was it, like 2 weeks ago or something? We canceled it, so we rescheduled it for our anniversary. But we have nowhere to go, really. Yeah. Everything's closed.
Yeah, but restaurants are...
But because it was pre-scheduled and I had canceled it 2 weeks ago or whatever, we're just going to probably drive around.
Well, you can find something. I'm sure you'll find something.
Whatever, we'll do something. But yeah, so our anniversary, I mean, we got to do something.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. My 20th is...
20th anniversary?
Yeah, 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
That's cool, man.
July 14th.
I think my parents have been married for 49 or 48 or 49 years.
So I got 20 years in, but I got it's really 28 together, something like that.
Same here.
Yeah, we waited to get married. So but these mad stories, dude, I got so many more mad stories. Even when I first started training, I was able to then start sparring. You know, you had to prove yourself. And my very first class was a Pedro on Saturday. Pedro's class on Saturday.
Pedro's classes were fun.
Yeah, and then we fought, dude.
Yeah,
we you know, and I was kind of the same way, but different in the sense that I didn't know how to gauge my power and all that yet. You know, just because I was out of shape, and that's what happens. Usually when you're out of shape, you can't gauge your power, and you know. So we had a circle. This is the first time I ever learned about the circle. Hey, you're going to fight everybody once for 1 minute rounds. You get through it. And okay, fight this guy. Oh, Allison. Allison's an instructor, you know. But she's a woman. But I'm thinking, well, she's a black belt. She's a tough lady. I got to still go. And I was lighting her up. She was going light.
You're a bully, dude.
I was a bully. And I was hitting her hard. I didn't mean to. I really didn't. I just couldn't gauge it. I thought I was going light, but I was. Little did I know her husband was next at the time.
Steve,
who's a lefty. And
hey, by the way, he's a sweetheart, man. I love that guy.
And strong, and he's skinny, but he's super strong. So I came up, and he was like, time to regulate. You just punched my wife in the face. And
Good for him.
Dude, gave me a hook to the nose, my very first fight class, and it just went... He broke my nose, dude.
Good.
Like a solid shot.
Good, you deserve it.
That was my first nose break here, or at training, you know. Yeah, so... But then, you know, me and Steve are really great friends, and same with Allison, and I learned a lot since then, but... Yeah, dude, he lit me up. I dropped to my knees. Oh, man. It was all you heard was crunch every time I talked. Crunch, 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 crunch. But I'm not like some of these other guys who I gotta go. You know what I did? I got up.
Seriously,
went
dude?
to the bathroom.
Hey, seriously, a broken nose. It's a broken nose. Whatever, man.
And I came back and finished the class, dude, with a broken nose. I was like, whatever. It happens. It's happened before, so it's going to happen again. But, yeah, that was one of those stories where you learn. That was a good learning experience. One, you never know who you're going to train with. And two, it's learn to just chill a little bit. You know? Learn to take it down a notch.
Yeah. No, sparring is fun, man. Especially if you go into a class where they know, like an intro class, where they know how to keep it safe but still challenge you. And then you could, like you said, there's different levels to that. Then you can do like a class where, you know, you're letting go a little bit more, and then you could do an advanced fighting class, you know?
Yeah.
Where you could throw, if you really wanted to throw, you could throw, and you could still do that safely too.
And I would even go as far as there's even different gyms for that. Gyms that you go that you know it's pretty much a hard sparring session is going to happen.
Right.
We weren't there. that's not what our intentions were
Right.
forever for that.
Right.
Although they happened. But
Well, and there's a difference too. We do self-defense, right?
Yeah.
We're not creating fighters.
Right.
There is a difference in that.
There is a difference.
Yeah, like we're trying to get you home safe, right?
Yeah, exactly.
We're not trying to make you a UFC champion.
Right.
There's a big difference in that. There's a reason why we have a lot of law enforcement, and there's a reason why we have a lot of families and stuff that come here, because they want to make sure that they get home safe. Law enforcement too, get through their work week or whatever and get home safe every night, as opposed to be the best fighter in a ring or with rules or with because it's completely different focus, right?
Completely different focus.
Is it good to learn both? Yeah, absolutely. Especially if you're an instructor. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But
I agree.
But it's important to know how to get hit, right? How that feels, in the self-defense situation. That's why we have the sparring.
You can take much more than you know.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have the sparring in a self-defense school, because the sparring is you need it. You need to know that if you get hit, you're okay. It might not feel good, but you're okay. You could still go on for a very long time after getting hit. And then you also start learning where to get hit. If you're going to get hit, choose. There's better places to get hit than other places, right? So, the sparring is definitely part of it. You have to spar. You have to. It's part of the learning process.
Do you have like a favorite instructor?
For what? For just in general?
Yeah, that you've learned from.
Mr. D. I did most of my classes with Mr. D.
Oh, really? That's pretty lucky.
Yeah, most of my classes, and I did a lot of private training with him.
Oh, really? You were pretty lucky then.
Yeah, so like Mr. D and Stan, pretty much who I trained under. The reason why I worked so much with Mr. D was because, I don't know if you know this, but I used to volunteer my time, like to do stuff at the studio. And so it started off as once a week. And then so what would happen is that before I started my shift, I would always spend like an hour and a half with him. And then so we'd do something.
Oh, that's good.
And then I'd get to work at the studio.
Right there.
Yeah, and then it got more and more. So like when I hit brown or blue, brown, and black, then it was like he would see me there all the time, training all the time. So then he literally knew like what times I was going to be there. So before his office hours, he'd always stop, and then he'd work with me.
You used to have a separate room, the advanced room, with a window in it. And I'd be like just sitting back like,
Someday
that'll be me,
That's cool.
And then someday came, it happened, and I was me, and cool, got to go in that room, started training with him. But the cool thing is I would find ways to get out of work, or I knew that he'd be at the studio, and he'd always have like special guys he'd train with and stuff like that. Back then we had a lot of guys like John Will, Danny Hazan come in. Yeah. So-and-so.
Hey, one of the best days that I had at work back at the old studio, we had Benny the Jet. He's a legend. If you guys don't know who that is, look him up. Benny the Jet. And we were going to have him do a seminar, but he came like really early in the day, and I was running that studio already. And he comes to the door, and both of the doors are open, and he kind of bows before he walks in. And before he steps in, he looks at me and he goes, "Who's in charge of this place?" And I go, "Oh, I'm the general manager. How are you, sir? It's great to have you here. This is Benny the Jet, dude. Like, dude, it's a freaking honor to have you here."
Exactly.
But I noticed that he didn't step in, and I was like, "Dude, like what? Like what's up? Like what's going on?" He goes, "Just want to let you know that this is the way a studio should look."
Nice.
He's like, I like how clean and the presentation that your studio has. He's like, "You should be very proud of it."
Nice.
And he walked in. I was just like, "Oh," dude. But for a second there, I didn't know why he hadn't stepped in.
I ain't coming into
but he wanted to point out, like, because it's kind of like now, like everything has to be spotless. It's like super clean, and that's what a martial arts studio should look like. And I was just like, "Oh man," and I felt really good about that, man. I was like, "All right, we're doing so good," Benny the Jet. I mean, he's seen a lot of studios.
That was a fun seminar.
He's like, "This is one of the nicest studios I've seen," So that was cool. Really cool.
Yeah, I had a blast at it. So it was challenging for me.
Really challenging because his fighting style is interesting.
Yeah.
And then his stances, like he's always switching stances and stuff.
Dude.
And as he switched stances, he would throw certain combinations. Yeah. And it was interesting to say the least.
It was a challenging one for me.
Another one I liked was John Will.
Dude,
that guy's awesome. He's just like a great human being.
So I just follow John Will now just to hear his opinion on life, and it's just so like
It's really cool, huh?
Yeah,
it's a
it's
smart
so
dude.
enlightening, and it's never overboard or
no,
too
he's
much.
enlightened for sure. Yeah,
and I followed his story after I met him a couple times, and for sure
that last seminar that we did, and it was simple stuff that we went through, but the details, like I'll never forget it. I even today, like when we roll and stuff, I remember the like pointers and stuff. It was really cool.
He showed me how to do an arm drag to a roll, and it was like that's one of my go-to things. And then he showed me cheap shot knockout punches, like he's a jiu-jitsu guy, but he's been training martial arts since he was a young man. That guy has
grit. That has some grit to him,
man. Yeah, since he was a young man, dude.
I love one of his stories, man. I don't even remember. I think he told us at that seminar, or one of the seminars that he did. He was at an airport, and this one of these like wrestlers. He's a Samoan guy. He was gonna fly out. So while he's waiting, this other guy that trains. Oh, he trained sambo. There was a guy that trained sambo, and recognized him and goes, "Hey, Mr. Will, like." He's like, how's it going, man? Like, I'm a fan of yours, blah, blah, blah. And so they just start talking, And this is pre-COVID, so you can shake hands and, like, mess around, So, like, he tells him, I'm a fan of yours, blah, blah, blah. He's like, I'm just coming from a sambo tournament. He's like, would you mind if we kind of fool around a little bit, like maybe wrestle a little bit? And then John was like, no, let's do it. Come on, let's go. And then so they're, like, messing around, and they're wrestling. They're not going hard or anything. And he's like, this sambo guy and this jiu-jitsu guy like meet each other at an airport, and we just all start laughing. It's kind of like it's like a weird setup. You don't expect that. And he's like, we actually rode for like 45 minutes. He's like, we rolled at the airport. He's like, it was like a highlight of my trip. I was like, man, can you imagine? You see someone at that caliber, and you just walk up to them and like, hey, I want to like roll, I want to wrestle a little bit, but that's how he is. He's like, he's a really cool human being, like he just wants to share information. And
yeah. I bought like 5 of his DVDs too, because I knew since he's in Australia, the chance of seeing him again would be
hard.
Hopefully we'd see him every year, but
right.
Who knew if that was gonna happen.
Right.
Dude, it was like I had just met him, and then I went into surgery, and like he posted, hey, thanks, Gary. Hope you're feeling better. And so after that, I was like a little kid, always watching his feeds and stuff like that. But yeah, he's really cool. And Red Wolf, I think it's Red Wolf or Red Wolf Jiu-Jitsu in Australia.
Oh, Red Cat.
Red Cat, Red Cat. And I follow him, and I like to think that like one day when we build this place up, I'd be like, hey,
we'll get him out here, man. I'm gonna reach out to him.
How do we do this, man? How do we do this?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Red Cat. Yeah, actually, his symbol or his insignia, it's sick, dude. Yeah. It's really sick.
I like wearing the logos, and
like one of his eyes is like crossed out, and it looks legit.
I like
dude.
it, dude. It's cool because everybody goes for the gorilla or the whatever.
It's good times, man. Like all the stuff like through martial arts, right? Like these mat stories, right? It's like you share the mat with like these really great human beings, and you also share them with not so great people, but they weed themselves out usually. And
they usually do.
Yeah. But imagine how many people we've like trained with, taught, and then continue to train with. Like it's just like there's so many people that in stories and people that you've met.
It's really funny too, because like when you start training, and half the time you don't know what half these people do when you start training, and then I don't know, a year or two goes by. You get to know them, yeah. Sometimes you don't know what they do forever, dude. And then you're like, oh, crap, I didn't realize.
I was talking to one of the dads the other day, and he was asking me, like, what my vision was for the studio, why I built it a certain way, and all this stuff, right? And I was telling him, just kind of, like I always do. I just selling the dream, man. Like, this is my vision, blah, blah, blah. And I had talked to him multiple times before, but this is the first time that we were talking about, like, training and how it's set up and why I did that, all this stuff, right? Turns out the guy's he's a federal, like, so he's an FBI agent.
Oh crap!
And
there's several people like that that have
no clue. Could you imagine if you were full of shit? Yeah. Talking about martial arts, all this stuff. These guys like call it on you right away. Yeah, I had no idea, and I've known them for a long time. But like you're saying, like a year or two goes by, and then you realize, like, oh, these people do this or these people do that, and it's like it's cool, man.
That's like Eric. For a long time, like I would teach day class. He'd have me come in on Fridays and teach day class.
Eric Himmler?
Yeah.
Oh, dude,
and I didn't know what his story
Captain
was.
America.
Yeah, but I didn't know he was a chief, dude. And some.
He's also in SWAT.
Yeah, and he's legit, dude, man. But he, and it makes you feel validated when you coach and
well, especially when they stick around for so many years.
And and when he's like, I want to take your class because I'm like,
yeah, it's cool, man.
Yeah, that's a good.
That's
feeling.
really cool. He's been so busy lately.
I can only imagine what he's
stuff
doing,
that they're
dude.
dealing with and all that. But him and his family have been so supportive of the studio as well. He's also one of our instructors.
Yeah.
He's not teaching a class right now because he's so busy. He's in the front lines, man, and it's just it's too hard to
him and his
with
wife
the schedule. You know what I mean?
Serious Irish.
Oh yeah, dude. There's
They
no
got the
denying that.
The red hair.
red hair.
Flying through. So when him and his wife and his daughter show up because they're
I miss his daughter so much. She was such a hard worker.
And they're like, where do these redheads come from?
The whole family trains, so
Yeah.
I miss them all on the mat. But hopefully things get better over the months that are coming, and we get to get all the families back, man. Like everybody,
There's so many funny stories on the mat, dude. So many funny stories. Yeah, and then you get to know people. Like when I first met Abel, it was years ago, but it's like
it was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago, but it was like, who's this guy? I don't know.
You didn't like me when you met me?
No, I don't know. I just never really trained with you, I guess. Yeah. I wouldn't say I didn't like you, but I just.
Rafi says he hated me.
Yeah, Rafi was like.
He's one of our third.
Although when I do remember everybody saying like that dude's a cocky dude.
Rafi is one of our third degree black belts. He's an awesome guy, dude. That guy's diehard. Like that guy, like straight up, like he's diehard. I'll just leave it at that. Like he's got our back for sure. And but he always tells me, he's like, man, I used to hate you, man. I'm like, what, Rafi, man, come on. Why did you used to hate me, man? We're nothing but love. I was like, I've always been. He's like, yeah, man, but you were all young and you'd come in.
You sound just like him right there.
Yeah, he's like, you'd come in and you'd be like, because at that time I used to have a partner, Adrian. He actually still comes in. He's my compadre now.
Yeah.
I'm his son's godfather, but we used to train a lot back then together. And he's like, yeah, both of you would come in stinking like alcohol because you guys went out a night before and come and sweat it out. You guys wouldn't take it serious. I'm like, what do you mean? We'd obviously take it serious if we went out and we'd still make it to class. And he's like, well, I didn't think of it like that. I was like, yeah, dude, like we loved it. Like we loved training and all that. He's like, yeah, but you guys were just cocky and Bo would always give you attention. I was like, dude, I'm over here working my ass off and Bo's giving you attention. And he's like, I didn't get it. And it's just funny now because he's like, yeah.
Rafi sounded a little jealous right there.
You guys all have that little red flag going, dude. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just I don't know why, but yeah, I mean, he says a story a lot better than I do, but he's like, yeah, I freaking hated you, man. He's like, I love you now though. He's like, you're good. He's like, you've grown up a lot. I was like, I know I've grown up a lot, Rafi. I'm sorry if I ever rubbed you the wrong way.
That is too funny, man.
Yeah, so I'm sure other people thought it too. Whatever. I was also in a different type of business, different mentality. I was a lot younger. You have to grow up, and Krav Maga has helped me grow up. Especially after I had the honor and invitation to become an instructor, then to run the studio, then to be a lead instructor, then to be the general manager of a big ass prestigious school. Like it's an honor. Like you better have your feet on the ground, otherwise you lose yourself, man. And so you have to do a lot of growing up. You have to.
Yeah,
there's a lot of people behind you that are backing you up, that are supporting you, but that also look up to you and also look for the school as a beacon of light. And you can't do that if your feet aren't on the ground and if your head's up in the freaking clouds and you don't got your shit together. Then you know what? You're not going to be a good leader. You're going to steer these people the wrong way.
And the funny thing is like. You meet so many people, man, and they come in and out of lives for whatever reason. We've just been the lucky ones that have all stuck.
We're stuck.
And some people, money, life, moving, whatever it is, they change and they move on. But to see somebody...
Sometimes even politics, I mean...
Yeah, well, that too. Yeah, even politics. And I've been places where, like, hey, do you remember me? And I'm like, yeah, I think I do. You did Krav that one time. Yeah, you were so much fun, man.
That's cool.
You know, and so that's fun when I hear stuff like that. And yeah. But these Krav stories, dude, like,
Hey, no one ever tells me that I was so much fun. Everybody says how strict I am. I am pretty strict when I'm on the mat. Like when we run the tests and stuff, I don't like to mess around. Like
See-
it's all business when we're especially when we're testing or when we have like a pre-test. Like when we run those,
you need to come check out
Like,
our classes
I'm just not messing around, man.
because I put on a show. And
Yeah, I'm not there for showmanship.
I'm there
to take care of business.
listen, I'm there to teach you something. You know, it's all going and we're all into it. There's like 6 of us in class. And I think his name's David. Look, he's a young kid. That comes in.
David.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a hard worker,
And
dude.
he was pushing it, dude. He had a 20-pound med ball.
that kid,
and,
man.
And they were going.
He's been in our program for a good 4 or 5 years now.
Yeah, and he's been coming to all my classes lately.
His parents are cool too.
And Brett's right behind him, right? And I know Brett already told me I'm gonna go light. I'm not feeling
He's injured.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that doesn't stop me, dude.
Of course. Yeah.
and I just so Brett's behind him and he's taking his time. I was like, man, must be nice, Brett. This young kid's got a 20-pound ball and you got a 12-pound ball.
That's so messed up.
Okay, whatever, Brett. You're a black belt? You're a black belt? I just was laying into him and he's like, you know, Brett's usually just a nice guy and he lets it roll off.
You know, we have a lot of the new instructors
Yeah.
on the mat right now because we're doubling and tripling up on every class because we have the team to do it.
That's been really good.
I was just about to say that. It's been awesome. And you know what? And some of these people, some of these new instructors, they're good.
So
They're getting good.
when you become the old dog instructor, when you put as many hours in as you have, it's still fun, but it's different type of fun.
It is.
And sometimes it feels a little bit like, oh, okay, what am I going to do? You know? And then, not saying that you hate it or anything, but sometimes you need a little bit of fresh, like...
You need fresh blood.
Yeah, something to get
Absolutely.
you your pot
Because
stirred
look,
again,
dude,
you know?
I'm not old, but I view self-defense differently. And maybe I'm too serious about it. And this new blood is like, look, we could be serious about it, but we could make it fun, and we could do this, and we could, and then they're just, dude, their classes are amazing. I listen, I have no issue with seeing somebody in class that's a newer instructor that's just killing it. And I actually told who was it? I can't remember who it was on the mat. I'm like, hey man, you're gonna take my job, but that's good because guess what? We took it, we put the bar somewhere. And now they're lifting that bar, which is what we want. All our generation should be better than us.
Well,
everything that comes after us.
And what happens is, you know, for whatever reason, we all get into this game for a different reason.
Yeah.
And we all set goals for a different reason. But you can tell who's hungry about being an instructor because of who sticks.
Yep.
So when we had this last instructor class, they all stuck.
They all did.
And I was
and that's rare because it hasn't been that way.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, look, think about when we went through it, okay?
Yeah, seriously.
When we went through it, there was 28 people that got invited.
Yeah.
28. From those 28, how many are those teaching? How many of those, first off, how many of those got invited to teach, which is 4? After testing, we passed, right? But even though they passed, you don't get invited unless...
Right, unless you're getting...
It's not a given. Like if you pass the test, it's still not a given. You still need to get invited.
Right.
And there was 4 of us. From those 4, how many of us are still teaching, right? Like
Right.
3 of us.
Yeah.
That's it.
Who's the 3?
McKenna, you and me.
Oh, that's right. I forgot McKenna was in our
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Who else? Nobody.
Yeah.
And so
True.
that's from 28, right? And that's from like, almost 6 to 8 months of the training that we did, then the testing that we did, and then the
Mat
inviting,
time.
and then the mat time, and then your shadowing hours, and then you got invited to teach. It's like, dude, this is crazy. And then to see all these guys sticking.
Yeah, and they're all really good.
They're
dude.
good.
They're all
and
really
they put in the
good.
work. You see them in class and they're killing it, dude.
But that's what it is. 1 or 2 of them might want to even open their own place eventually.
Absolutely.
You know?
And we'll support them in that.
And that's what it's all about, dude. It's all about. I mean, I know 1, 2, 5 people that were instructors or students that own their own place now.
Yeah, that's true.
Think about that.
Yeah.
From where they came in, it's like this is their career.
Yep.
So it's like, well, I want to be one of those guys.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, it's like, oh, that's exciting, dude, because just to know that it changes your life like that.
It changed my life, dude.
That's what I'm saying. It changed my life too. It felt like a whole different game, dude. And when I'm not doing this, I'm not myself. Now it's become a part of me, dude. When I'm not doing this, I like get lost in the real world bullshit, dude.
Yeah.
So, it's like, but this is good stuff.
It is, and like I said, this whole new group of instructors coming in with the leadership of the senior instructors and stuff, dude. It's a sick group, man. And everybody has a good attitude. And we have law enforcement, and we have regular people, and then we have. It's just such a good mix, man.
It is a good mix. It's definitely. We've tried to make it a politic free too.
Yep, dude. You know what?
And that's hard to do nowadays.
Listen. We're bonded by blood, sweat, and tears. And if you're depositing that onto our mats in this studio, I don't care whether you're purple, brown, black, yellow. I don't care. I don't care what your thoughts are in politics. If you're depositing blood, sweat, and tears, then we're a family.
Check it out.
And we'll have each other's back.
I just remembered a good math story, dude.
Yep.
I was giving the instructor test. So Abel goes like this and hands me, here, you're going to teach green belts in our first meeting before we do our test. You're gonna proctor the greens.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And I was like, oh, cool. Well, I think what he did was originally he gave me a blue belt testing sheet. So I was like, oh, cool. I'll run this. We're gonna go forever. These are blue belts.
I did this?
Yeah, but you just handed me the wrong sheet.
Oh, okay.
And you were right. I was gonna teach and proctor the green belts. And then you even noticed like, I'm sorry, that's the wrong one. You gave me the right stuff.
Right.
But in my head, all of a sudden when it hit, I'm proctoring a blue belt test. Like, yeah, I'm going to teach you. Because we always say blue belt's like, right?
Blue belt's like the real test, dude. That's a hard test.
For us it is, at least.
I think everybody remembers their blue belt, man. Because anything after that is just as hard or harder. But that was the real one.
Well, that's what I was like.
Point it or return.
I was like, I got to make this memorable, So I had Stacy. I had the lady Jackie.
Yeah. I remember this test.
Yeah, I had Jackie, who was our yoga instructor.
Yeah.
And I can't remember two. There's 4 total. I can't remember the other 2. Might have been Eric. Might have been
Tom. Was it Tom?
No, Tom is more than that. I don't know. I don't remember the 4. I just remember the 2 ladies. And I was going in, and then we fight, and it's noon, right? And you're like, how many hours you got?
Oh, I remember this.
You're like, how many more do you got? How long do you got? And I was like, I still got to go over all.
And I was saying it because I was like, dude, this guy, he's like going on forever. Dude, it was like the 6th hour.
Your real blue belts like bowed out, dude, and my green belts are still going.
I remember this. It was Jan, I believe. It was Jan, Eric's wife.
Yeah.
Jan, Jackie, Stacy, and there was one more person. Who was it?
I don't remember.
But I remember this. You went on forever, and I was like, dude, this is.
Dude, they went through a legit test at Greenbelt, dude. Like
they went through almost pretty much a blue belt test.
Blue belt test and then some, dude, because I put them through the mill. Yeah. And I ended up just not going through all the curriculum because I was like, it's 4:00. They're already done. Come on in.
They start at 8:00, dude. That's messed up, dude. But you know what? They made it through.
You know what? And they're better for it.
They're better for it. And then look at Stacy, dude. Stacy put in some work, man.
And that's what I told them.
She's one of our instructors as well.
They were like, Gary, I said, everybody needs their test story, dude. Now you got your story. Then I said, they go, somebody said, do you feel bad? Everybody's laughing, do you feel bad? I was like, no, because my yellow belt test was like 6 hours, 7 hours.
Yeah, back in the day, dude.
Yeah, there was no hour time limit, dude. I was like.
Yeah, we just expected the worst. And I hate to say this, but we really have, the first 2 tests, we've cut down.
Yeah, and it should be streamlined a little bit like that, because it's definitely when you get to a certain point, these people are real, and we're going to make a real test.
Absolutely.
Now. Until then, it always takes a little bit of weeding people out, and usually you can do that in the first year or 2 years.
Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah, that was a test, though, dude. That was and even to this day, do you feel bad? No, not really.
No, I remember, man, everybody's bowing out, and then the green belts are still there. We're like, Dude, you were supposed to be done like 2 hours, 3 hours ago, man. What's going on? And in your mind, you're testing blue belts.
Yeah, I was testing blue belts, dude. And even on my sheet, it
So
said
for those of you that don't know, it's white, yellow, orange, green, blue, brown, black.
Yeah.
So not every martial arts place has the same structure,
it's
or
a
not
little
place,
more,
but
a little less.
right. But
whatever.
it's very similar. So white, yellow, orange, green, blue, brown, black. That's what we do in Krav Maga. So, anyways, right on.
Yeah,
man.
I was going nuts.